Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January 6th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, well, I would like to say I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's always a good day when, you start the day and you finish it and you got everything you needed to get done, right? Today sucked though, mentally. It was a fugue hellscape for your boy internally. I don't know, man. The vibes are not vibing. 2026 is over. I'll see you in 2027. I don't know. It's given that. That's the vibes tonight. I don't know. But no, we got up today. Actually slept pretty well. I'll take that. Definitely a highlight for the day. There's a couple little highlights along the way I hopefully can remember to talk about. But, we got up. We got to work. And I didn't even do any buggies because they had someone already on it. And so everything was clear. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go upstairs. And I had noticed that on one of the floors, someone hadn't showed up. That was normally the cardboard runner. So I'm like, okay, it's looking like I'm going to be doing that up here. So, I shifted to that role. And then I got the update that wasn't all I was going to be doing today. And they're like, okay, yeah, you can do that. You're on the third floor. Awesome. You can just stay there for a bit. But come 10 o'clock in the day, which was 2 hours from then, we'll probably have you doing putbacks. And I was like, copy. Excuse me, because y'all know from the previous episode, I didn't do well with putbacks yesterday. That was a retreat moment. And then I found out the added thing was they locked me out of my little dumpster. They locked me out of my crusher. Pretty much, they put someone else down there, and they told me, yeah, we're training someone else on the crusher. And I'm like, okay. Hey, audience, do you see what I see? I don't want to get conspiratorial here. I don't want to go Candace Owens or whatever over here. I mean, we should probably talk about Candace Owens. I don't have her on the docket today, but something's afoot. I do feel like essentially the whole plan here is now that I'm a part of the team, I essentially get ragdolled around, and my job isn't my job. It's just one of the things I'm capable of doing type shit. So therefore, I have no ownership. I have no onus over the crusher. I mean, technically, yeah, never have. Okay, awesome. But AKA, you never have this issue with the obstinate guy saying, hey, you can't fill this. You know what I mean? You're always going to have a sucker on there, and no matter what, I can just be moved around. So, I mean, that's what it feels like is happening here. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it forced me to be in a situation where I couldn't go and do my main function that I wanted to do for my day. So I had to do these putbacks. And I'm like, all right, so we're gonna do our best. And of course, this RF gun thing doesn't work. I mean, it's temperamental as hell, or I'm not using it right, whatever. But I did figure out how to use it well enough. And then also just realizing how the layout was, because I've technically run through the layout years back when we redid everything with the new software. So I somewhere in my brain, there's a latent memory of how this shit is all working. And so kind of giving myself a day or two is kind of getting me there. And I realized these tags will just show me where to go. I don't need this damn gun. And the job does not matter because we're not doing stats. It's just, this is for accuracy. So if you fuck up, the gun, shows, it highlights you're the guy who fucked it up, right? Okay, cool, whatever. You want the job done. This is slop work. And my new thing for this year, I can already tell, we're going to overuse the word slop. I'm one of those people. But this is slop. This is nothing, whatever. You just need the job done. I'm here to do it. I can do it. I'll do it. So I did that for about an hour or two, went on my break, kind of realized that this was going to be the day. And, just did it, I guess. I just had a couple of moments that I was really zoning out. And then there was a moment towards the end of the day where I go back up to the third floor because we had more or less run out of the putbacks and on the floor I was on. And I can see it's getting messy. It's getting a little nasty. And I'm and I get on the radio and I'm like, hey, I need 2 cardboard buggies sent up, because the one upside about this is the guy they put down there is at least a hard worker. They're banging it out, and like there's plenty of buggies. There was like 6 to 8 buggies the entire day, but for some reason reach truck drivers just didn't fuck with us. They didn't want to fucking give any buggies up, unless a fucking like certain person called it up, not me. So you know, I pretty much just got the fuck off, and I was like, okay. And I just went down to the leads and I was like, could you guys actually call for it? Because they're just not listening to me. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, did you check the special place? And I'm like, there's nothing up there, dude. Could you just like, I didn't know what to say. I was just so upset. Like, it was just with that moment alone, just with how the day was going. But let me talk about some of the upsides. I'm talking about the lowlights here. A thing over the past couple days I've discovered as a neat little break room hack is I'm taking the hot cocoa, the hot chocolate, the Swiss Miss, and I'm mixing it with coffee. And it's kind of hitting. It's kind of nice. That's what's cool. And then I got to talk with some of the people that I've been working with, like on the floors. And I had a really cool like commiseration moment. And y'all know I love just getting gang with people. That's like the upside. That's the cool part. And like I noticed when I was working that they will have moments where they will kind of like drop off to the side in the aisle and eat. Like one day I noticed that they had peanuts, and I was like, damn, that's what's up. I fuck with that. And I was like going by again, and they had a bag, and they're like, are you hungry? And I was like, yeah. And they summoned me over, and these 2 sweet ladies, they're so sweet. They go, oh yes, you can have some. And they give me Flamin' Hots, and I'm like, yummy, thank you. And then they had, and I mentioned, I'm like, yeah, I saw you guys eating peanuts the other day. It looked yummy. And they're like, oh, you can have some of those too. And like, I was just so overwhelmed, and I have this like RF gun. I'm so clumsy. I'm trying to get the like Flamin' Hots, and the ladies are being so nice. They shell them for me, and then give me the peanuts. And they do that like a few times for me, so I have like a handful. And I'm just like, thank you so much. Like, this felt like a save point, because I was losing it. I was tired. I was like, it was just, I could tell how much of a grind the day was going to be. So like, those are 2 highlights for my work day. Then we can fast forward button now. We get out, we go to the gym. I'm ready to get mine. Like, it's time. And the gym goes pretty well for what it is. Busy Tuesday. Smith machine initially, no action. I get on free weights. This is like the same day as yesterday, pretty much. I have to kind of abandon ship. I get in a good set, a good, like, movement, all my movements with the Smith machine. I added an extra rep to kind of make up for that, with the free weights situation. Kind of felt fine, felt even. I get through all my, filler work, all my cardio, everything's goodie bag. Everything's awesome. Still a lot of people at the gym, but overall, it was, in and out, how we like it. So that was good. That was solid. But yeah, I mean, and I think that in of itself, total, that's a day I can tank. There's nothing really wrong with it. Yeah, it's a bit upsetting. It's a bit unsettling. I'm worrying about the job a bit. And I wouldn't say worrying. I'm just annoyed. It's annoying. It's frustrating. I'm glad I'm able to do this whole putback thing. I hope they don't put me on doors still, but we never know. It's just annoying. I think the worst part is that I'm being like rafted away from my job for like standing on business about it. Like, it is a very frustrating thing in that regard, but like, I can do this. I know I can work it. So I'm just going to keep on motoring with that. But, I think what was like the fucking rotten cherry on top of this fucking shitty ass Sunday today was, I was just having a conversation with somebody, and it just went like, so like to the left. Like, it just went so like just unexpectedly bad. And, I really just didn't, I didn't know how to tank it. I still don't. Like, I don't know, man. And I'm just so sick of having bad conversations. Because I'm just trying to like get to know people, be cool, like be a good friend, whatever. I don't know, man. It's just, shit should not be so difficult. I don't know. But I get the feelings that it's a me issue. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just tired, y'all. My dear listeners. Fuck my fat chungus live chat. No, I don't know. No, this is where I just want to like wallow for like 5 minutes and just wail and cry. But we did that in the pregame, so we're not going to do that now. It's game time. It's news time. It's time to yap about some fucking news. So let's do our startup and let's get into it. I'm going to hydrate. Yeah, I try not to make this a sad place. I know every once in a while I can definitely get emotional, whether it be over my life, whether it be over news that's happening, like wherever the world's at. America is crazy, whatever. But I try to keep things as upbeat as I can in this dark, in this dark world. But sometimes it does get to me. Sometimes it just does, and I gotta go live, or not live, so to speak. But you know what I mean. I gotta press play and just talk. But speaking of Candace Owens, I don't have her on the news docket. I said that, right? But Macron's wife, I know her name is Brigitte, but I don't remember her maiden name. She won a lawsuit, I believe, against a group of people who were slandering her, saying she was some transgender, so-and-so, or she was a groomer or something. The grooming thing, that's a whole thing. I don't want to start doing the conspiracies or anything like that, but you can just look at Macron's age, look at her age, look up the history of how they got together. That's a whole fucking thing, and you can deduce whatever the fuck you want from that. I don't really care. But the trans thing is very crazy. It's been this rumor mill thing that really got a big updraft from Candace Owens. I'll say Candace Owens. She started stoking this whole thing up and making a lot of hay over it, and then transformed the whole thing into a French Legionnaire conspiracy, and then made it about Charlie Kirk, and dovetailed all of this together. A real masterclass. But I don't know. I think she's running out of rope. I think she's running out of things to kind of make up, so to speak. But taking it back to the Brigitte thing. She's filed some lawsuits, and I believe she's filed some in the States against Candace Owens, but the shit in France was local shit, or at least in state. So, once again, I really should have had the details at the ready here, but the news didn't pop up enough. And frankly, there's been so much Maduro, Venezuela, which is fair, valid, a big way to start off a new fucking year. But I'm trying not to spam that too much. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to cover that too much. So if you're wondering why we haven't really come back to that story. But I guess speaking of that, I know we're just kind of riffing and raffing already. Was it Delcy Rodriguez? She was sworn in, so there was that. Kind of around the same time, Maduro is also, pleading not guilty, saying he's still presidente. Also, I didn't realize how tall he was. I found out he's 6'2". That's kind of fucking crazy. But even crazier that he is in a jail in New York right now. What the fuck? But that's a whole thing, and I'm sure when the bigger highlights come, we will cover that shit. But yeah, needless to say, we're just kind of booping and bopping around in the news sphere right now. Things are very mushy, very not concrete, but. We have the few news stories that I did want to cover. So let's go ahead and just dive in there. How about that? Okay. Wait, I didn't even do my startup. What am I doing? I just took a drink of water. I'm just flopping all over myself today, y'all. Bear with me. It's just one of those days. No or no? Okay. Hooey. From ZBS News. Gunman in Brown University shooting confessed in videos. Says attack was planned for a long time. The gunman in last month's deadly Brown University shooting and the killing 2 days later of an MIT professor confessed to both shootings, according to a series of videos that were found by authorities. In the videos, the transcripts, which were released Tuesday by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts, the gunman indicated that he had planned the Brown attack for at least 6 semesters. Also, I'm sorry, am I weird for saying it's strange to count in semesters? Just whatever. That's some man, I love college shit. Sorry. The videos were found at a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire, where the shooter, 48-year-old Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, was found dead by suicide several days after the slayings. It's unclear exactly when they were recorded. The transcripts that were translated by the Justice Department into English from the gunman's native Portuguese did not reveal a motive for the killings, prosecutors said. Of the Brown shooting, Neves Valente said that in the transcript of one video, I had plenty of opportunities, especially this semester, but I always chickened out. In that same video, Neves Valente later said, the only objective was to leave more or less on my own terms, adding that it's already long overdue. To say that I was extraordinarily satisfied, no, but I also don't regret what I did, Neves Valente said in the video. In a transcript for another video, Neves Valente seems to describe how the shooting did not go according to his plan, saying it all went wrong because he wanted to conduct the shooting in a regular room, not an auditorium. Neves Valente said that when he entered the room where the shooting occurred, he only saw one guy down there and assumed the others had fled through an emergency exit. He said he was unaware that several students were hiding in the classroom, believing it was empty when he left. He also referenced his encounter with a possible witness. So yeah, I had to read that one back again, and it clicked for me what he meant by oh, I really wish it was a regular room, because I think what he wanted was how he pictured it in his head. I'm gonna walk into the room, see everyone, and then shoot. I'm gonna do what I plan on doing. And when he walked in, he was like, I only see this one guy. What the fuck? And then kind of quickly did a deduction and goes, oh, they must have all gotten away. Actually, because of how the eye works, how the auditorium is, it's no, you only see this one guy. Everyone else is immediately reacting. They're scared, frantic, but they hit the deck, they hit the ground, and now you can't see them. You're making this quick action, and you're going, okay, I can't do what I want here, and then flee. But what a difference it makes if he can just walk in and see everybody, because then he's just gonna that's so you get that kind of insight, and it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe to me it's a little bit damn, that's chilling. The infrastructure of this room saved those people that day in that moment. And the fact that he was no, I'm not so dedicated to this moment that I'm gonna actually run the room, because I know I only have so much time to do it. And I guess you do get that from at least kind of what you're gleaning from these transcripts, is that he's I wanted this moment to do what I wanted to do. For some reason, this was just his dark thing. And maybe that in and of itself is the motivation. Is he just, he said, I wanted to go out the way I wanted to. And that's why I'm ending it here in this, storage, facility. That's why I'm making these videos. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. Obviously, not that makes any of this better, but once again, it's just, you're at least getting the machinations of it, right? What was going on behind the eyes on this shit. I actually was confronted. Oh, he also referenced his encounter with a possible witness. I was actually confronted, and he knew my license plate. I honestly never thought it would take them so long to find me, he said. Neves Valente, a former Brown grad student, shot and killed 2 students and injured 9 others in a Brown University classroom during a study session on December 13th. Authorities said he also shot and killed MIT professor Nuno Lurio 2 days later in Brookline, Massachusetts. Officials said the suspect previously attended the same university in Portugal as Lurio. Both studied physics and are believed to have known each other. An investigation into the motives behind the shooting is ongoing. So yeah, I felt that was a big update. Once again, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't bring anybody back, obviously. But, it is what remains. And, I felt it was worth, at least talking about that part. So we'll see if any more comes down the pipe. But yeah, let's keep it on CBS News, but we got to move on into the Trumpverse. Like I said, I already said CBS News. 2,000 federal agents deploying to Minneapolis in immigration crackdown, fraud probe. The Trump administration has begun a massive deployment of hundreds of Department of Homeland Security agents to the Twin Cities area as it escalates its federal crackdown amid a widening fraud scandal in Minnesota. Multiple law enforcement officials familiar with the plan told CBS News. The crackdown could involve roughly 2,000 agents and officers from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, Department Branch, and Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI. The agency's investigative arm tasked with fighting transactional crimes, the official said. They requested anonymity to discuss operations that have not been publicly announced. And my dumbass, when the Trump administration said, hey, we're going to pull back some of the troops, I thought, okay, cool. That means we're going to ease off some of these tensions, some of this pressure, right? But once again, Trump. He ain't really off anything at the end of the day. He won't what he won't. Shit, we still talking about Greenland. That's actually on a bit of the, it was kind of a garbage time to kind of cover that, but we can just say that now. He's still talking heavy about that shit. So in this situation, he's like, okay, so maybe we don't use a National Guard for now, but we have plenty of other ways of flooding the zone with literal people. We don't have to actually use them. We have plenty of agencies to use to accomplish the same kind of fucking goal. So yeah, business as usual, baby. Go ahead and get on out there. I believe this operation has been called Operation Metro Surge. Like that's just been the ongoing name since like last year or whatever. You're cracking heads. You're essentially doing the whole immigration shit. Really, I think that's at the nitty gritty what this is about. But you're adding over the added guise of like, well, the whole fraud thing. That's just an ongoing issue. It's only getting worse, and it's a Somali problem, which Trump loves to talk about. Like, and I love that. Like, there's a certain like ethnicities he gets really charged up about. Like, he just loves calling Somali people garbage. And it's also sad too, because there's spillover from this whole Minnesota fraud thing. We talked about it a little bit in previous episodes, but it's led to, in terms of just from the epicenter, Governor Tim Walz is saying he's not going to run for a third term. They thought for sure that was going to be a thing until this scandal really hit, and the way it's cooking and the way that like just from the bottom up, in terms of like from the conservative Republican side, they're just throwing attacks, this like incessant He's like, I realize that I would be the problem, and like it would just be a big distraction if I ran. And maybe he's just tired. I don't know. Whatever. Insert reasons here. He's saying I'm out. And now we're talking like, hey, Amy Klobuchar, Senator, could you come maybe be governor? Maybe take a crack at it. You got a shot. I don't know. Because he's saying he's too damaged goods over this fucking scandal, which I was like, really? But it is something that, once again, on the right, they just love this shit. And I know as an Ohioan, this is kind of the second thing I'm getting to here in terms of that spillover, is people go nuts over it. Like, we go Midwestern psycho about it. Like, there are people who are saying they have, like, daycares have to up their security because you have people coming through and saying, show me your papers. Like, show me your documents to show that you're a real daycare and you're not scamming and leeching off of the government. Like, what are you talking about? I'm taking care of kids. These are children here, by the way. Stranger we don't know. Like, this is an insane situation we find ourselves in yet again in the fucking culture wars. It is so crazy that this is just an ongoing thing in the situation where the guys that you thought won have just won, and you're supposed to have the America you wanted. And it's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. This is how we make America great again, baby. One daycare at a time. It's insane. But let me at least touch terra firma here and read my little highlighted portion. The new surge comes amid intense state and federal scrutiny of Minnesota following years of high-profile fraud cases involving federally funded programs. They have included some of the largest pandemic-era and post-pandemic fraud schemes in the country, like the Feeding Our Future case. I can't recall if we've covered or touched that on any episode. Y'all know we've done so many stories. I'm guessing no. But, the thing that bugs me and it bothers me here is that there are so many pandemic fraud stories here. Like, it's not new. And I don't mean here as in Minnesota. I mean in America. I mean in the world. Like, we are sitting here and saying, oh, no, 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 these are special. And it's like, why are these special? It's because they're brown people doing it. Like, that is what it is. That is the thing that people are not saying out loud. But it's like, that's what's making us upset. That's what's making us really need to, like, dig in here. And, like, that is why stuff like this is, like, such red meat for the fucking base. And technically, since we're talking fucking red meat, and we've already been talking about Maduro, so is what he did there. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it is a showing of might and strength in a way, and showing that, yeah, we can still do it. America still got it. But also it's a foreign thing that, like, you don't really have to worry about. It's not something that's really hitting your shores outside of, like, Maduro and the fucking Nike tech. But that's not a problem. You're fine. Everything's good. Oh, your gas prices didn't really go up or down. Nothing's really affected. This is, sadly, just like, you know, the Israel-Gaza thing to you. You don't care. As long as you're good and you can say your prayers and go to sleep at night, you're fine, brother. Like, so these kind of stories are just red meat for you to gobble up and then forget about later. But, like, whole people's lives are being affected and uprooted by this. I don't give a fuck about Tim Wall's career, whatever. But, like, real people just trying to live their lives and fucking run a daycare, like, can't do that effectively. They now have to go even further out of pocket to, like, fund security and shit to, like, keep weird freaks, MAGA head motherfuckers away from them. They have to, like, fucking worry about their phone lines being, like, fucking bombarded with fucking psychos. Like, it is a wild situation that's coming out of this. Meanwhile, on top of it, the Trump administration's like, let's do fucking raids. So nothing has changed. No, less National Guard, who cares? Like, Trump just keeps finding a fucking way, right? So it fucking goes. I don't know if there was anything else I really wanted to pull here. We talked about Tim Wall's not in the running anymore. Oh, it's so sad. It's a bummer. And yeah, but like I said, we talked about in the previous episode. I want to say this again. Is this a fraud situation? Are there fraud situations happening? Yes. But are they being blown out of proportion and sensationalized? Yes. Like, both things can be fucking true. Crime happens everywhere. Fraud happens all the fucking time. You know this. You do. You're an adult. You do know these things. So to, like, hyperbolize these fucking things for whatever fucking reasons because you really just like when the person's hitting the xenophobia button is kind of crazy. And you should clock yourself for that every time you get that little itch. You know what I mean? You should be like, what's going on here with me? if that's happening to you. Hopefully not. You know what I mean? But, so it fucking goes, man. You know, the beat. She goes on and on. Anyway, let's move on. We have one more story that I really wanted to cover. I guess it's an RIP. So there's that. Look, dude, this isn't my guy. I'm sorry. I don't know this man. His name is Doug LaMalfa, but he's a congressman, and we got midterms coming up. So technically, that's news over his dead body. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our last break, and then we'll talk about this, and then I might have a little quick news rundown, but we'll see. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Okay. From the BBC. U.S. Congressman Doug LaMalfa dies unexpectedly at 65. Who could have seen this happen? I'm sorry. See, this is where it kicks in. I'm like, he was 65. Like, that's old to me. And everyone's going to look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, sorry, my parents died, like, I guess young. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know, man. Always look on the bright side of life. There you go. Doug LaMalfa, a Republican congressman from California. That sounds like an oxymoron, but I do know they exist, just like Republicans in New York. Look at George Santos. Republican congressman from California has died unexpectedly at age 65. Colleagues announced on Tuesday. Dude, Donald Trump glazed this guy so hard, and I love that. Because you know what? It's good that the GOAT gives you your flowers at the end. You know what I mean? You really have arrived in Valhalla when fucking Orange Odin is giving you yours. You know, he's lighting the pyre for you, and he's saying that to express our tremendous sorrow at the great member at the loss of a great member, a great member. He's so great, dude. That's crazy great. We don't know what caused his death, but you know what? Here was the most recurring fact that I heard about this man, about Mr. LaMalfa. LaMalfa was a former rice farmer elected to Congress in 2013. He focused on water and agriculture issues during his tenure. And that's cool, but he also agreed with like Donald Trump on literally everything. Like 100%. Like that's why Donald Trump knows him and that's why he likes him. And I think he likes his fat boy swag. And you know what? That's why I picked him in the thumbnail. Okay? Because you gotta look at him. That's fat boy serving. Okay? Give credit where it's due. He knew how to throw a little body. But yeah, rice farmer, and he's dead now. So, 07, toodaloo. Like I said, this makes the Republican majority even thinner. You know, they're really gonna have to win these fucking elections. And like Donald Trump is like giving scared. He's a little worried. He's like, look, if you guys don't, he said this shit. He said, if we don't win, if Republicans don't win the midterms, they're gonna impeach me. And I'm thinking to myself, brother, they've like impeached you like what, 2 times, right? Maybe 3. I can't remember. Who cares? You're Teflon. You've been impeached. You've lost cases. You did a January 6th thing and no one gives a shit, dude. Which leads us to the spillover news because we're moving on. Our RIP LaMalfa, see you never, or in Valhalla or wherever. You. Like I said, we mentioned Greenland. You know, it's scary times. They're in the red dot. Apparently. I mean, we'll see. Like, we've already talked the envoy, but yeah, the pressure campaign is just still mounting. And so much so that, like, you know, Greenland's talking back. They're like, bro, we said no. All right? No means no. Don't forget we NATO together. Don't make us have to squad up against you, bro. Like, that's kind of the vibe right now. Anyway, January 6th. It's getting the janitors. It's getting the landlord special. We're just painting over that shit for real. You know what actually happened? They were just having a little walkabout, bro. Like they just walked in and like, sure, like this was like a, you know, unsanctioned thing. Like, oh, little oopsie-daisy, a little bit of a faux pas. But like, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that serious. Actually, you know what the problem? It was the police. It was their fault. They fucked up, dude. And they killed a woman, bro. What the fuck? Now they care about that. When it's an Ashley Babbitt, they do care about that, by the way. Surprise. Yeah, it's fuck the police then when you're trying to take over the Capitol to sniff Nancy Pelosi's shoes. I don't know. I guess that's when it's a fucking problem. That's when the police are bad. But yeah, no, apparently January 6th did not happen the way we thought it did 5 years ago. So that's crazy. It's honestly like kind of a bit of a January 6th miracle. But I mean, hey, Donald Trump's in the mood for miracles these days, man, you know? So, fuck, man. Oh, buddy. That's, is there anything else? Let me keep scrolling. Was there anything else? Yeah, Doug LaMalfa, he did. For some reason, everyone's talking about Hilton hotels because they banned ICE, like, you know, what we just talked about, you know, immigration, customs enforcement. Cool. Businesses have been doing that. Cool. Awesome. It's nice to see them maybe taking a stand if that's what's happening here. But it's the Hilton we're talking about here. It means up until a certain point they were definitely housing these motherfuckers knowingly. Like, come on. Like, and now they're just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it now. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really getting into the deets about it. But I'm not cheering for the Hilton. No. But I guess that's interesting tea if you want it. Well, what else we got here? I think that's really all I really give a shit about on the ticker for right there. So yeah, that's the little quick roundup to close it out. And for that, we'll do a little bonus session while we chill. How about that? I'm in the mood since we start off on such a low note, low vibrational plate. But yeah, if you'd like to help out support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/AZanNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Ooh, feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Something nice. Something cheerful maybe. Sharing is caring if you want to do that. Put it on your story. Tell a friend. Dude, sharing the old-fashioned way is crazy. And I will say, man, I get so shy and bashful if someone, like, if a homie mentions my podcast in front of me, like, hey, yo, you gotta listen to my dog's podcast. That's a crazy sentence. It's just insane. There's no year where it's not insane. And, like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the homies doing that, IRL or online. So thank you so much if you have. But once again, no pressure. It's all good. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. That always helps my ego. And maybe the algorithms, maybe the basilisk sees this and smiles. maybe not. Anyway, you remember that story? Anyway, what else do we say here? Obviously, if you don't do any of those things and you've just been tuning in and you're hanging out just to hear how I close it out for the day, you're wild, dude. You're wild. We made it through another episodes, dude. This is our 51st dates in a way, and like, a non-parasocial weird way. Am I Drew Barrymore or are you? I think. Ooh, that's a good question. We have to figure that out. Who's the beatdown? Who's the control? No, why am I doing Magic the Gathering references? I need to stop. Why am I like this? But no, I really just appreciate you hanging out and just listening to this, listening to me yap, listening to me whine, listening to me cry and laugh and inhale, exhale, all the things. I appreciate you so much. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.